everybody. Welcome to another interview of a sponsor spotlight for the EP Access All Protectors Networking event coming up in Grapevine, Texas, just under 3 weeks. It's right around the corner. Today we have with us the Global Director of Personnel, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong on that, Zach Rugen from RMS Protective Services, who is one of our sponsors. Zach, appreciate you being here, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you having me on.
Of course. I always enjoy our conversations. So we're going to jump right into it. I know you got a lot to do, but if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about RMS, what you guys are doing, where you are, things like that.
Yeah, RMS is a worldwide company. We operate on 6 continents. Most of our operations are domestically here in the United States, but we've been fairly busy the last few weeks over in Europe with everything going on over there.
Right.
But it's, we're an investigation company and we provide private security services as well. So.
Excellent. Cool. So, you have a big operation, obviously. Anybody that can tout the word international, there has to be working relationships and networking, right? So how important is networking to your business?
It's extremely important to us. We wouldn't be able to do what we do overseas without our network. We have the benefit that our CEO and owner is from the UK. So we have a lot of connections in the UK. We've made connections with all sorts of friends from Italy to France to Germany to the Middle East, Australia, all over the place. We have connections everywhere, which helps us greatly with when our clients request services, we know who to call.
Yeah, right. And it's, just to kind of expand on that a little bit, it's like, and it's not just it's not a one-shot deal, like, and it's not just so you can get business for them. It's just it's a process. It's an ongoing process. It's not like you just talk to them when you need something. But when you're as busy as you guys are, then yeah, you're talking to them a lot because of business. But even when you're not, it's still like it's a maintenance program essentially. You have to stay in touch all the time. Would you, and I don't want to say all the time, but consistently, regardless of flow of business. Is that kind of accurate of what you guys do or how you do it?
Yeah, one of our vendors that's based in Israel, it was his birthday a couple days ago, and I reached out to him and just little thing, just, hey, happy birthday, hope you're doing well, how's everything going? It's just little things like that keep that connection there, and to remind them that we know that they're still there, and hey, we're still here as well.
Yeah, and that also, I'm gonna expand on that for you, is that we value you as you, not just as a provider, but again, like, happy birthday. How many people are doing that? I'm going to tell you right now, not a lot. So would you mind, and that in itself is a very mini, and we talked about this just before we got on, that's a very mini success story of you just continuing to grow or to cement your relationship with that person and saying happy birthday. But would you, do you have another success story that you could share around networking?
Yeah, I taught a course a couple of years ago, and an individual who attended that course just one day randomly reached out to me and said, hey, I need assistance in Afghanistan. And, that led to me introducing him to Matt Nelson, our COO, and Matt was able to put together a very strategic plan to help evacuate people out of Afghanistan. And then, that just runs right into, now Matt is managing operations in Ukraine. And it's just crazy how, one person I taught a couple of years ago randomly calls me in the middle of the night. I happen to pick it up, and it led to all that. So,
yeah, right. And so a few years ago, while you're instructing and they're taking it all in, probably not at the forefront of your mind of, I'm doing this just in case this guy has to call me in the middle of the night for something in Afghanistan. It's literally like you just put it out there, and they took advantage. In the positive way of like, I know that this guy, I know kind of where this guy works. I got a lot out of him when he was teaching. So even if he doesn't know somebody, I bet he knows somebody who knows somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's cool. I dig those kind of, because it's just, it was a phone call. That was it.
Yeah.
You know, with no intention behind it, you know, and or the instruction was just so they can get more out of it, more out of whatever it is that they're doing. Like, you know, you're teaching them to be better to be better operators or, you know, providers, I guess.
Right.
So why do you think, why should protectors consistently, and I think you may have just answered the question, but is there another one? You know, why should protectors consistently network?
It's great to just branch out, you know, to get to know people. I met you through networking, you know,
Yep.
and we provide services to you guys. You guys help us out. We help you out.
Mhm.
I've met so many random people just through networking. Back in Vegas, we had that little get together at our hotel,
Mhm.
and I met a couple people there that I didn't know lived in Jacksonville, Florida. Well, now I have a contact in Jacksonville. I met a guy there that lives in Los Angeles that I didn't know operated and owned an agency in LA. We've been using him quite a bit lately. So it's just, you know, you meet somebody and you find out where they're from, their background, you get to know them, and you never know when the day you're going to call them up and say, "Hey, I need your help. I remember meeting you at this event. Can you help me out?"
Yeah. Yeah. And it's when it gets an ongoing thing. Just you know, had a conversation last night with a guy that I don't even know if we had ever spoken, but I knew who he was because he's a younger guy coming up. He's a mutual friend, and we'll talk about him later. Um, but he was an up and coming guy, just kind of just getting into it in about 2017. And but I remember him standing up in the conference at the CPC in Vegas, asking questions like, how do I move forward? And he had listed, or he had rattled off a bunch of trainings he was doing, what he was like, the work he was doing, and all the, you know, and all this kind of background related to it. And then he was at the conference and he was dressed the part and he was doing all these things right. And he was networking, not even realizing that he was. But you know, I took, a lot of people took notice, and now he's been active out there, you know, actually
Right.
doing the work. And so and I guess I see, because I turn everything into networking, right? I see that as networking, dress the part, asking the right questions, doing all the right things, talking to the right people, getting the training, and on and on. And then, and you know, for professional development's sake, he's, you know, he's showing up there even more, still asking questions. And so that's just kind of how, obviously that's how I see it. But he's been growing his network ever since then, if nothing else, by adding, you know, things onto LinkedIn and Facebook and all that. So anyway, um, why? So in this case, in this event, you know, why did you choose to sponsor the, you know, our event here that we're having in Texas?
Um, we chose to sponsor just because we like to network. We like to get to know people. We want to meet new faces in Texas. We want to see who's out there. Obviously, you guys are going to be there. Some of our other colleagues are going to be there. I know Christian West will be there, Joe Lasorsa, people that we also work with and we respect as well. So, you know, it's just want to give back to the industry and want to help new people coming in or meet old faces that we haven't seen in a while. So
Yeah, right. Well, I agree with that too. You know, part of the reason when Christian and I were talking and figuring out where we wanted to go, it just, for whatever reason, Dallas just kept sticking out, right? And we had kind of decided to do one in that area, I don't know, October or November last year, something like that. But then when I got to CPC, um, I mean, it was funny. Like, I got like 5 or 6 connections in that, like on their business card, Dallas, Dallas, Dallas. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, I mean, like who, whoever's guiding the universe, I'm like, okay, well, you know, like we'll go there. And that sounds a little heavy handed, right? Of like, but it seems so clear then. And you know, by the time people see this interview, as of last night, which was Sunday night, we had which, whatever the date would be on that, 27th, I guess, we had 119 registrants for this event. Yeah, and it's like it's huge, especially for an event that doesn't have anything around it. Like when you showed up at the one for GSX that we had in Orlando. So I'm pretty
Right.
excited about that. But anyway, that could be me rambling on about the events. But anyway, Zach, appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. I'm going to cut you loose, but thanks for being here, and we'll see you in Texas.
See you in a couple weeks.
All right, man. Take care.